Divorce me while I am sick? That's fine. Enjoy being single. When I was 28, I got diagnosed with lupus after months of my husband telling me I was just being dramatic about my joint pain and exhaustion. The doctor literally had to explain to both of us that this was a serious autoimmune disease that would affect my whole life. I remember sitting in that sterile office chair while the doctor went through all the medications I'd need and lifestyle changes, and my husband Jake just kept checking his phone. That night, instead of asking how I was feeling or what he could do to help, Jake told me he didn't sign up to be married to someone who was going to be sick all the time. He said he was too young to deal with a wife who couldn't keep up with his active lifestyle anymore. I was still processing everything the doctor had told me, and here was my husband of 3 years basically telling me I was damaged goods. The next few weeks were hell. I was trying to figure out my new medications, dealing with flare-ups that made me feel like I had the flu constantly, and Jake was acting like I was personally ruining his life. He started staying out late with his gym buddies and coming home smelling like perfume that definitely wasn't mine. When I'd ask where he'd been, he'd snap at me and say he needed space from all my medical drama. 2 months after my diagnosis, Jake sat me down and said he wanted a divorce. He actually had the nerve to say that he deserved to be with someone healthy who could give him the life he wanted. I was so shocked I couldn't even cry. I just sat there watching him pack his stuff into garbage bags, like our entire marriage meant nothing. Here's where it gets good though. Jake was a personal trainer at this expensive gym downtown, and his whole income depended on his reputation as this fitness guru who had his life together. He was always posting on social media about healthy relationships and work-life balance, trying to build his brand as a wellness coach. The day after he moved out, I started my own little project. I created a fake Instagram account and started following all his clients, especially the women who were always commenting heart eye emojis on his posts. I began casually mentioning in the comments how I'd heard he'd recently left his wife when she got sick. Nothing too obvious, just little seeds of doubt. Then I reached out to his ex-girlfriend from college, Emma, who I knew through mutual friends. Turns out Jake had cheated on her too, and she was more than happy to share some interesting stories about his character. She told me about how he'd borrowed money from her for personal training certifications and never paid her back, and how he'd been sliding into DMs of other women even when they were together. I also discovered that Jake had been telling people I was crazy and that he left me because I was mentally unstable, not because I was sick. That really pissed me off because I'd been nothing but loyal to him, even when his own family told me I could do better. So I decided to get creative. I knew Jake was trying to get hired at this really upscale gym that catered to wealthy clients. The owner was this older woman named Patricia who was really big on family values and integrity. I happened to know Patricia's daughter from my book club, so I casually mentioned to her how terrible it was that some people abandon their spouses when they get sick. I also started documenting everything Jake owed me money for. Turns out when you actually add up 3 years of marriage, there's a lot. He'd used my credit card for his protein supplements, borrowed money for his car payments, and I'd been paying most of our rent because his income was inconsistent. I'd never kept track before because I thought we were a team. The divorce proceedings were interesting. Jake's lawyer tried to paint me as vindictive, but my lawyer just calmly presented all the financial records showing how Jake had been financially dependent on me throughout our marriage. Jake's face when he realized he'd have to pay me alimony was priceless. His social media following dropped dramatically once people started putting the pieces together about why his wife mysteriously disappeared from all his posts right after she got sick.